What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be talking about the most underrated player from the 2010s, which, in my opinion, is Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson was born on June 29th, 1981, in Little Rock, Arkansas. He attended Little Rock Central High School, which Baseball Hall of Famers Brooks Robinson and Bill Dickey attended, along with Fred Williams, a football player, and a football coach, Houston Nutt. He went to the University of Arkansas. In his freshman season in 2000, he was named SEC All-Freshman Team and SEC All-Tournament Team. He averaged 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. He led them to the 2000 SEC Men Basketball Tournament Championship. In his second season, he was named to the All-SEC Second Team and SEC All-Tournament Team, while also receiving honorable mention All-American honors. He averaged 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 assists. He declared for the 2001 draft, where he was selected by the Boston Celtics with the 10th pick. Where he spent half of his rookie year there before getting traded on February 20th, 2002 for Randy Brown, Milt Palacio, and a first-round pick. He was traded along with Randy Brown and Milt Palacio and a first-round pick, and it stands for Rodney Rogers and Tony Delk. My bad. In his rookie season, as a whole, he averaged 7 points a game, got a decent 25 minutes a game, didn't shoot very well from the field, but was a decent player off the bench. He played much better for the Phoenix Suns than for the Boston Celtics. The Phoenix Suns did not make the playoffs in his first season. In 2003, he played all 82 games, just less than 30 minutes a game, almost 10 points a game, but not very good efficiency, only 40%, less than 40% from the field. They made the playoffs. The Phoenix Suns made the playoffs in 2003, where they lost to the San Antonio Spurs in 6 games in the first round. In 2004, he improved a lot, going up from 10 points a game to 16 points a game, becoming a important piece of the Phoenix team, but they really struggled after Stephon Marbury got traded, and they went 29 and 53. He played all the games. They did not make the playoffs. 2005, Steve Nash joined, was the MVP. Iconic season. He was a very important part. 17 points a game. Good efficiency. Important part of their team. 40 minutes a game. As they had a 62-20 record. They're expected to go far in the playoffs. They beat Memphis, Dallas, and lost to the San Antonio Spurs again, this time in the conference finals in 5 games. After 2005, He became a highly sought after restricted free agent and wanted to leave the Suns because he wanted a larger role. The Suns ended up not matching Atlanta's $70 million offer and ended up going as a sign-in trade for Boris Diaw and 2 future first-round draft picks. In his first season with Atlanta, he averaged 20 points a game with a boosted role, same amount of minutes. His efficiency went down a little bit, but that's just because he took a lot more shots and had a bigger role, obviously. But as a con to his decision to leave a really good team, Atlanta did not make the playoffs in his first season. 2007, for the first time in 4 years, he did not play all 82 games, but he did average 25 points a game. I was having a really good year, which was good enough to get them into the All-Star game for the first time. But they were not good enough to get into the playoffs. 2008, his scoring dipped a little bit, which was expected because he played all 82 games. Still a huge role. He made the All-Star game again, but most importantly, they made the playoffs again. Now with a new role, he averaged 20 points a game in the playoffs. Only in a 7-game series. They ended up losing to the eventual champions, Boston Celtics. It was an odd series. Boston took the first 2 games in blowouts. Atlanta took 2 close games. Boston took Game 5 in a blowout. Atlanta took another close game, and then Boston closed out with a huge blowout, 99-65. Basically, this series, Atlanta's 3 games that they won were all close, and Boston's 4 games that they won were all blowouts, which is very odd of a series. But hey, yeah, it was 20 points a game in that series, but they ended up losing. 2009, again, an all-star, 21 points a game. The Hawks ended up making the playoffs. Ended up making the playoffs. He played 79 games, so a huge role. His efficiency during this time, it went down a lot, but that's because he took a lot of shots. What I said before. 2009 playoffs. They beat Miami and lost to LeBron's Cleveland in a 4-game sweep. The first round series was considered an SB Nation episode. Said it was the most boring series of all time because it was just all the games were mostly just blowouts, back and forth. Even though I went to 7 games, he had a down playoffs. Only averaged 16 points a game by averaging 21 points a game in the regular season. In 2010, he averaged 21 points a game, 76 games, and most importantly, he made the All-NBA third team for the first and only time. Obviously, he continued his streak, making the All-Star game. They made the playoffs. Again, a decent team. They got eliminated by Orlando in a 4-game sweep. Joe Johnson averaged 17 points a game, which is good, not anything crazy. 2011, he was still an all-star, had a little bit of down year, 72 games, 18 points a game. His minutes decreased by a little bit. The Atlanta Hawks still made the playoffs. In the playoffs, he averaged 19 points a game. But they got eliminated by the Chicago Bulls, led by MVP Rose, in a decently close 6-game series. In 2012, he was an all-star once again, despite only playing 60 games. 19 points. He averaged 19 points a game. And they made the playoffs once again. He averaged 17 points a game there. He was a very consistent player. Nothing crazy. His only season of averaging 25 points a game was when he didn't play 60 games. They got eliminated in the 2012 playoffs by the Boston Celtics in a close 6 games. Most of the games being close games. 2013, for the first time since 2006, he did not make the All-Star team. He also, for the first time since 2006, since the first time since 2004-05, he left. He got traded to the Brooklyn Nets for Jordan Farmer, Anthony Miro, Jordan Williams, Johan Preacher, and Deshaun Stevenson, and a first-round pick. In the so-called super team with Paul Pierce, Darren Williams, Kevin Garnett, and ended up going poorly. And ended up backfiring on the Nets. Joe Johnson still had a decent season. Played 72 games. Just didn't have a good enough season to make an All-Star team, 16 points a game. Even though they're known as a monster flop, they still at least made the playoffs. It's just the thing. It's just it ended up those draft picks were super good that they traded for Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. That's why they're remembered as just a bad team. They lost to the Chicago Bulls, even though they didn't even have Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose was injured. They still ended up losing to the Chicago Bulls in 7 games. Nate Robinson had a really crazy series. 2014 ended up being the last time he was an All-Star. After having a down year in 2013, he bounced back like any good player. $15.8 points a game. Not as good as a year as last year, but he's still able to make the playoffs. If you're wondering why I'm not mentioning any other stats, because he wasn't really good at anything other than scoring, which is kind of why he's underrated. But he was a really good scorer, and he was very consistent. They made the playoffs again. He averaged 21 points in the playoffs, 2014. They got eliminated by the Miami Heat in 5 games. 2015, he was still with Brooklyn. 14 points a game. He was falling off now. Just a role player at this point. They still made the playoffs. 16 points a game in the playoffs. And he lost to his old team, the Atlanta Hawks, in the first round in 6 games. As Joe Johnson was still yet to get a ring. At this point in the league, who's known for someone that could come off the bench and still get you buckets. Or sometimes start and still get you buckets even though he was old. 2016, played most of the year with Brooklyn, then got traded to Miami. No, actually, sorry, he got waived in a buyout agreement and he got signed. Sorry, my bad. In a total, he only has 12 points a game in that season, and Miami made the playoffs. Despite not being the team they used to be, they lost to the Toronto Raptors in 7 games. In 2017, he signed 2016 offseason. He signed a 2-year, $22 million contract. Averaged 9 points in the regular season for the Utah Jazz. In the playoffs, he had one last iconic moment. He had a game winner against the Clippers. At this point, he's known for still giving you buckets. His nickname, ISO Joe, still relatively true. They ended up losing to the Super Team Warriors, who are considered the best or the second best team of all time, in a sweep. But they beat the Clippers, which ended the Lob City era. As you know, Blake Griffin and Chris Paul got traded not so after. 2018 was for a long time his last season in the NBA. Halfway through, we got traded to the Houston Rockets. We're really good that season. And they were the number 1 seed. As you know, one of the best teams to not make the playoffs. To not make the finals. Not many people that know that he played in the series where they lost to the Golden State Warriors in 7 games. Iconic series. Chris Paul got injured. A big what if. But for a long time, that was his last game in the NBA. He went to the Big 3 League. Retired at mid-season. He signed a 10-day contract with the Boston Celtics. Played 1 game. And this legend scored on his 1 shot. So he has a 100% field goal percentage. What a legend. He still hasn't retired. So who knows if he will get his contract. Most likely he won't, because this is the perfect ending to a great career overall. He's a 7-time All-Star. Played in the All-Star game 6 times. Never has gotten a ring. Also, has a national team career that I forget to mention in these videos. He's still playing for the national team. Playing on, he was one of the players in the 2006 FIBA World Cup, and they got 3rd place after losing to Greece. And he was selected for the FIBA 2022, even though he's 40 years old. Still playing for the U.S. national team. Very cool. So, guys, this is the last episode of my series. Don't worry, I'm not gonna go away. Sorry for the lack of uploads recently. I just took me a long time to record this, find time for it. But, anyways, goodbye. See you in my next video. This is a really fun series to make. Hope you enjoyed all my videos, including this one. Peace.